Hello, it's Giles here from 101 Part-Time Jobs. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, you can. For £1, £4 or £10 a month at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. You can help support our independent production. We are so happy with the way this is going. We appreciate all of you listening and watching our episodes. So thank you for being here. If you'd like to take it that one step further, you can. That's at patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. Cheers. 101. I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling of being somewhere unknown and you're totally vulnerable. Right, you know, if your car breaks down or your train's delayed or the hotel that you booked don't have you on their system.
Yeah.
These are things that, you know, you need to, it's much better if you have like a network support.
Alone, that's not fun.
Did you start doing it alone?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's a good few years doing it alone?
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing it, that was really at the beginning. I was 18 or 19 and... Also, you know, when you're by yourself, you have a different vibes. Maybe you're going to have your little diary to give you some like romantic vibes to yourself. Like, oh, let me sit down here
Before
and
midnight.
write. Yeah. You know, like, let me write on my little diary, like what's going on, like, you know, those kind of things. So it actually supports you and you're not feeling a bit weird, you know, you just, you know, and at the moment you just remember you're here to play the music in a city you don't know, in a new country. You're just very happy, you know, you're not complaining too much.
The show's called 101 Part-Time Jobs. Look at this very bespoke.
Shout out 101 Part-Time Jobs.
And like my philosophy behind it is, you know, when I started playing music, I really like found like a life in music. Like I had a local youth center, there were lots of bands, me and all my friend group I met through music. And at some point in my mid to late 20s, you know, I was like, fuck, like I don't really want to do anything else. I just want to be around that.
Yeah.
But that being in that world, you know, was always at odds with real life. It was always at odds with paying rent in London, you know, going to the pub. You know, years ago I started interviewing people.
Yeah.
And, you know, the idea is, and the thing that I'm celebrating is that everyone's got obviously a different experience, but people have a set amount of values. And I think often we don't hear about those values. We don't hear about those ideas, those philosophies. So that's the kind of thing on it. And, you know, I think maybe like a big question is like, how do people do it? How are people able to stay in that world? Because, I mean, tell me, what was it like growing up in France? Like, you know, when you got to that 18 period, and I know you spent time in New York, was there an infrastructure, you know, maybe government or where it's like, it's okay to be a musician. It's okay to do that.
Totally. This is one great thing about France. But actually I was making some jokes about it and that I'm going to do again after the end of this thing I'm going to explain. In France, what they do is they encourage a lot the culture and the musicians. And so basically, let's say if in 1 year you've done an equivalent of 40 shows or like 40 studio sessions, all those things mixed, you get paid 1K, 1,200 a month.
Okay.
Once you did all of that in 1 year. So let's say first year of music, you do all those things because maybe you went on tour with a band that started booming up or whatever. Then the next year you get paid every month, but then you can keep that status if you keep doing it every year. And this helps a lot. And also, you know, once you start making music and you put it out, you have organizations that are going to chase radios, supermarkets, TV, whatever that plays your music, and they're going to give you money from that. Right? But then I was saying, this is great. It helps a lot French musicians to make music, but the music ain't as good as in the UK, where apparently there's no help like this. No, and the music is way better here.
There's only hate here. You experienced contempt.
Yes. But so that was one of big luck that I had. I mean, first luck is that my parents were supporting me to play the music because they are both artists. So this really was a amazing luck. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that once I was 18, I met those people that were having a band. It was a duet, French pop. and they were starting to have a bit of success and went on tour for the first album, and I was their drummer.
Great.
So I had the status that I mentioned after 1 year of touring with them, and then I could, make my music calmly, and then I started to, I signed a deal and everything, and so I was launched to make my music. And I also went to live in Spain, which was much cheaper, so it was even nicer, so I could keep on doing it.
And then the actual gear, like, people, we love those videos on your Instagram where you're playing. I haven't seen you live yet, but it's great that's what Instagram's for, right? Is to kind of show that it feels like so much of your personality and show is to play keyboards separately. That requires space and gear.
Yes.
So like, how did you get like the space to do it and the time to did you have a room you could use? Did you discover keyboards as you went and kind of build up with your equipment that way?
Yeah, it was so I remember, I think when I was at the same moment 18, a friend of a friend had a studio with a lot of synth and stuff. He was much older than us, and he showed us this website called Audio Fanzine, which is a French website where people were selling their gear, basically some kind of equivalent of what's the thing you have
Gumtree
here?
Or whatever.
Yeah, Gumtree. Yeah,
Reverb or whatever.
Reverb was not a thing at the time because Reverb is expensive as hell.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I don't buy much equipment.
Reverb is always heading 20%.
They won't be sponsoring the show now.
Yeah, sorry guys. But hey, we love Reverb.
Bring your prices down.
Bring it down, please. But Audio Fanzine, especially, I'm talking like an old man, but in 2016, that was like cheap as fuck.
Not long ago, yeah.
So the first thing I bought was a DX7. And I remember, it was always fun because, I mean, it's always like this now, but, you go to the guy place, which is some old man that has a DX7 in the house that he doesn't use. And, the keyboard was like switched in both ways, like the octave were like switched up,
Okay.
I don't even know how I managed to make it work. And then, you come back to the house very heavy, you're like this, and then...
And you don't know if it works or not.
I didn't really know synth.
Yeah.
It was my first like vintage synth. I don't know what the fuck is all those things, with like all those green pads on it. But at the moment, you plug it in, you start to play, you don't have an idea of what it's all about, that is like a Japanese, you don't know all those things. You just have this new element in your bedroom and it sounds sick. And you make 3 songs with it because, you went all the way to buy it and then and it's so nice.
And like instruments have songs in them. Like once you start playing something for the first time, you're like, whoa, something comes.
Yes, totally. And to come back to the beginning of what you were asking me, it was always, to be fair, it was always people teaching me. I remember there was this guy called Jérôme, who was in my, it's under high school. What is it? When it's not high school?
Middle school.
Middle school. Like the one when you're like 15 to 18.
Oh yeah, that's high school.
High school, okay. I was in high school and this guy had, he was way older than us because he had double like twice.
Yeah.
Because he was smoking weed and chilling. He kept coming back.
Held back 3 years.
And he was making techno music. And he was also DJing and stuff. And he's the one who showed me Ableton, who told me like, you need to get a sound interface to get synth in the thing. And here is a crack of Ableton and a crack of this VST and this and this. And I'm really thankful to Jérôme because he was the first one, to show me this. And with my friend, he had this little Pioneer controller, and my friend and I put it to him like together. So we were sharing it, and we were starting to DJing at parties.
Yeah, cool.
So it was like we could have the controller every week.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, with my friend Emile, can I get the controller now? But then it means you had to go to his place and take it. It was kind of. We were making fun because it looked like we were like the classic instrument player, they always have those weird packaging, those like weird boxes with like a fucking trombone inside.
Yeah.
That's why I was looking like, man, I don't want to look like a trombone player, man. I want to look like a DJ.
yeah. You get on the train and people are like, nice one.
Yeah.
The thing is, in every so much on the tube, if you carry like an instrument, people make a joke like, is that a gun? Is that a weapon?
I hate that. I really hate that. And especially the fly case. I have this fly case that looks very aggressive. Which is this black Gator thing in like this weird carbon material with like a fucking crocodile on it. And it's like, people always look at me like, whoa, is this guy, like, what is going on? Like,
yeah. But the trouble, all the good looking cases, if it's like wood, it's going to break. It's going to warp.
And it's heavy too.
I like the way that your experience there, it's like, you found a world, like it was through friends.
Yeah.
It was through something you wanted to do at parties. You could hang out and drink, with your friends and do whatever. But there's an extra level to it.
Yeah.
Where you're doing something that you're like kind of building this universe.
True. And this, I guess, I was a bit nerdy at school. I was spending a lot of time, like actually, in my room and getting to know the instrument, playing the trying to learn the piano. Actually, the first synth was not the DX7. The DX7 was the first like one that I bought, but the first synth I had was a friend of my mother whose sons didn't want his workstation that was a bit like the Yamaha over there, like those kind of keyboards, like the
kind of old looking,
the old one, but like
in a school or something you get in like a primary school.
Yeah, like the toy-ish kind of thing.
Not that serious.
Not sexy, with 100 sounds in it that nobody kind of wants because they don't look too exciting, but they are.
Yeah.
And so I had this first thing in my room, and then I was just, playing on top of music I know. I was very into psychedelic music, so I was playing Echoes by Pink Floyd, and I was jamming on it for 20 minutes, like the whole thing.
Wicked.
Playing the same note, because you could put effects
it's on
the
drone.
It starts with this note, the ting. So I was like, ting, like at the same time, and then doing my thing. And when you learn sometimes by yourself, that's also how you create your own. I mean, I was taking a little bit of classes at the beginning, but then I just kind of stopped doing it. Get bored a bit.
Yeah.
So I just stopped.
And you're not doing it the right way. You're doing it like your way.
Yes, but it's good to have a little bit of technique at the beginning, just so you know the basic. And then I suggest to drop it. So that you have your ground, and then it's good to have enough to then fly with your own wings. So I was like, okay, I learned enough. I learned that if I put those three fingers symmetrically, it makes a C major. But then if you're by yourself, you learn that if you add a fourth finger, you have a very nice chord. And then if you do the same with one finger up there, it's a nice chord.
Yeah.
And then, just learning like this, all those things.
Have you kept that up like over your few records? First full length came out like 2022.
The first like album, yeah.
Yeah, first album. And 50K Watts is brilliant.
Thank you.
It sounds mad and wonderful.
That's kind.
I love it. It's a great energy. And I think like that feeling you're talking about now, I feel you kind of see the other side of that, the other side of the coin to that, where like it's all these mad sounds. There's a good energy behind it. That energy comes from flying by your own wings, does it?
Probably is. I think it was also the pleasure of just disrespecting the instrument, because the second album was very much respecting it. It was like playing those guitar chords and then, with the nice pedals and then playing those everything nice and the drums and, mixing it very well and all those things. And then playing it live as well, like ta-da-da, I want to make it even more beautiful live with the whole full band. That was amazing. But then I was sick. I was like, enough. Let me take this guitar and disrespect totally, let me destroy the sound. Let me put this distortion pedal through the synth and destroy the synth. I want to make every sound disgusting, and then playing big drums on it with the worst sound possible. I went to the studio to record drums. To have it was Rockfield Studio. I don't know if you know this studio.
Yeah, like Oasis,
yes,
Charlatans, Britpop, basically.
Yes,
it's the Britpop studio.
Because I was making the album, in my usual way, which means in some living rooms, in some bedrooms, whatever, just wherever I have, or in some studios, but like not professionals. So at some point I was like, it doesn't work. It needs to be made in a studio, proper one. And I work with an engineer called Bruno Ellingham since 2022, and he lives in Bath. And he was like, "Oh, Lewis, I know where to go. These are my friends, my second family, Rockfield Studio." Me, I didn't know anything about it. I was like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Went there.
Where's Wales?
Yeah, kind of. I know where is it. But
You know where it is now.
And I went, and yes, we just had this room a bit similar, but with no, a lot of reverb, kind of. It's a room where they had a ping pong table that was cold, that was just resonating. Really not made to have the nice sounds, like tight, just disgusting. And we put mics everywhere to really capture the disgustingness perfectly. And that's how we get that sound.
Amazing.
You can really hear it on No Question. It sounds like shit, and that's the whole purpose.
And that's why we buy good headphones.
Yes.
So we can really hear the shit.
Exactly. That's the whole purpose.
101. This is the work, right? The work of doing what you do.
Yes.
And like, have you been able to kind of look at it like, this is my job, this is what I do now? Do you feel like you've got a good, relationship with that thing?
I keep being surprised. That's why I'm still having fun.
Yeah.
But the balance is, every time I think it's going to be perfect, every time I think it's going to be shit, it's always the other way around.
Yeah.
So, what I can do on my side is just making sure I'm doing the most of the work, to never be at least lacking on that side. So I actually work a lot. I'm going to rehearse a lot.
Believe it, yeah.
I'm going to, make sure the live performance are crafted nicely, and the person I'm working with is also going to do that, and the light and everything. Just backing up ourselves so that everything that we are bringing that we can control is perfect. But then it's a battle against whatever the fuck.
The conditions.
So maybe, you can't control if you're going to play somewhere and your luggage is being lost. So it's just part of the thing. You just don't have to care too much.
Good to chat. I appreciate the time.
It's already finished?
I think so. What time are we on, Porrick? We finish on one good question, though. I think it's a good question.
Yes.
Because it's my question. I'm a bit like, it could be in music or other like regular work stuff, but I really enjoy people's stories of fucking up at work and making a mess, or maybe just causing your boss a lot of money or stress, or those. I think maybe in France your experience is a bit different to like British people's, because in Britain, like, so many people are playing music and then having to work other jobs.
Yes.
And then so you end up fucking up one of those because you can't do both of them at 100%.
Yeah.
So stretching that question out to music, maybe, what's like a big fuck up? A good gaff, a good scrape?
Oh my God.
That you narrowly escaped?
It actually happened extremely recently. I don't know if it's a fuck up, but that kind of is. It's just very weird. I was in the studio 6 days ago, on last Wednesday, and I was having a session with this band, very upcoming, called Vaseline, which is those two incredible women who are like making this music, and they were opening my show in Exewayo. That's how we met. Yeah. Yes. They were supposed to arrive in 30 minutes. And I was just, making the studio nice and clean. And there was this microphone holder that had a little screw inside, and that was stuck. So I had to take it out. Yeah. And I had a screwdriver, So I was holding it, and I was trying to unblock the thing, right? Putting all my strengths to unstuck it.
Yeah.
But it's not working. So I'm putting all my strength, and then the screwdriver suddenly is something happened. It's not in my hand. It's actually inside this hand.
Oh no!
Enter here and go all the way.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing myself piercing myself.
Yeah.
With a screwdriver.
Pay a lot of money for that.
And I'm seeing my hand, which is my life. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But there's no blood. But it's just a screwdriver inside. But then I'm alone in the studio in a silent atmosphere before a session, and I'm like, I need to take it out. I take it out. There's no blood. It's just tiny drops, and I'm like, and then the pain arrives. It's an incredible pain, a very strong pain. And then I'm like this, and I go clean the, I put some alcohol, like there was some kind of weird thing to clean, like wounds.
Wounds, yeah, like TCP or something.
And then, they arrive for the session, but because it was not hurting so much, I was like, I can do the session. I can do it. But then I didn't tell them anything about it because I was like, it's a bit weird. If maybe it's gonna switch the vibe if I tell them, hey, I actually put a screwdriver in my hand before you guys arrive, so I'm feeling a bit weird. That wouldn't be nice and professional.
Yeah.
So I just kept it low key, just play the music, and we were making this like kind of like hard rock electronic song, and I was playing the drums, and I was like, I was feeling strange the whole time. Kind of want to puke because I had these images of the screwdriver inside of my hand. That I do it myself, So I was feeling an idiot and in pain,
Two good feelings.
And I had to make the good music as well. And then we actually made the song, and they leave at 7 p.m., something like this. And I'm like, I'm going to go home and rest. But my hand was getting, more and more.
Did you go to the hospital?
Well, in France, emergency hospital is a nightmare. It's like if I go there, I'm going to wait for 6 hours and I might not do... it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Let me book just an appointment with a doctor the next day, But then in the night, it's very painful. My hand is red and swollen and I'm getting scared.
Yeah, because that screwdriver might have had a bit of rust on it or something. Could get infected.
And I didn't have the vaccine or whatever. I'm getting very stressed.
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning and the doctor's calling me and he's like, what are you doing, Lewis? You shouldn't go see me. Go to the emergency now. Yeah. I'm like, okay, let's go there, 8 a.m. And I went to the Homerton Hospital.
Yeah.
He was so sweet. So I would like to give a big shout out to Homerton Hospital and NHS.
Big up.
It was so well organized. They were very kind.
Nice.
He the guy was a bit mad at me, like, what the fuck are you doing? You should have come right away. And he cleaned my wound and gave me the vaccine and antibiotics.
Let's see it.
I had to play my show the next day in Munich.
It looks okay.
It's very clean.
now.
Now it's okay.
Yeah. But you're right, it's that's your life.
Yes. So I used to say I'm cursed but lucky because what the fuck is that? Putting myself this, but what a luck that it didn't go,
Yeah.
And cut.
Or hit the bone or an artery or a vein.
What makes the music possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did the show with the wounded hand. I played the guitar. That was a bit weird. But everything happened. It was all good.
Find some new chords that way.
I didn't try to find the new chords. I was just trying to make them what I could. But I have a session with Vaseline again today, and I think I'm going to tell them that I last time I was a bit weird because I had a screwdriver in my hand before you guys arrived.
They should be very impressed. That'd be a vibe push.
I think so.
I think it'll be good for the vibe.
Yeah, I was a bit on the edge, on the tension.
It.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lewis.
Thank you.
Great music, great stories. So that was Lewis OfMan here on 101 Part-Time Jobs. His new record, 50k Watts, sounds absolutely bonkers and it's insanely awesome. So if you haven't heard of it, now you have. Lewis OfMan, 50k Watts. Go blast that out your speakers. Cheers for being here. Recent episodes include Stuart Lee, loves having him on, West Side Cowboy, Jasmine Myra, who has a beautiful instrumental album out called Where Light Settles, which I highly recommend. Nats, if you haven't heard of Nats, Knats, amazing band. Call it jazz, call it rock. From Newcastle, produced by Geordie Greep from Black Midi. And coming up next week, we've got Kevin Drew from Broken Social Scene, Kingfisher, Rat Boys, Pierce, Miniskirt, loads of great stuff. If you want to get them, you know how. Click subscribe. See you later. Hello, it's Giles here from 101 Part-Time Jobs. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, you can. For £1, £4 or £10 a month at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. You can help support our independent production. We are so happy with the way this is going. We appreciate all of you listening and watching our episodes. So thank you for being here. If you'd like to take it that one step further, you can. That's at patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. Cheers.